All right, so we just did our first pour on these molds that are going to be turned into table legs for our modern coffee tables. And the way we do it is we do these pours in two separate pours. So we do the first pour where it's very thin, and really all we hope to do is take the epoxy and we want to basically cover every exposed surface so that it seals all the wood pores, okay? So we're basically just putting a thin coat of epoxy over every place that air bubbles could potentially seep out from. And then the next pour, we fill up slightly past the lip of our material. And whenever we do it that way, we eliminate all air bubbles, and it comes out crystal clear. If we're using Total Boat's Thickset Fathom, it comes out crystal clear and it produces a really, really cool table leg. So yeah, that's what these two are gonna be. And then now we're gonna start working on the mold for the Marucci project. So last week we kind of failed on the glue up for this one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this piece, we're gonna build a mold around it, and then we're gonna fill it up with Total Boat's Thickset Fathom, and that will give us a perfectly square stock. We're just gonna fill all these voids. It'll give us a perfectly square stock that we can then bring to Marucci and get them to make a cool baseball bat out of. So that's what we're gonna do next. Cap it on the end, pour epoxy in there. That'll work. The next. Okay. All right, so another day in the shop. Really the focus for today is the Marucci project. So the other day we did a preliminary pour on this piece, which is basically the seal coat. So that first pour that we did seeps into all the wood grain and it reduces and pretty much eliminates all air bubbles. So now we can do the deep pour. So on this one with this mold today, we're gonna do the deep pour. And then this actually is gonna be another baseball bat stock that we're gonna do. So the concept for this one is gonna be broken skateboards and epoxy. So we'll put this piece right here with the nose and tails kind of going up, and then we're gonna reverse it on this side. And then we're gonna fill the middle with a crystal clear epoxy from Total Boat, and then we'll demold this and have a pretty cool piece that hopefully we can turn into a bat. And then these pieces over here are for two custom orders that I'm working on fulfilling. So these pieces are broken skateboards, and we're filling in the negative space with this blue epoxy, and then we're gonna cut our table legs from these blocks. So that's what these are gonna be. If you follow us over here, Dustin is working on our next chopsticks. These things are super cool. So going with the recycled skateboard and epoxy theme that we've done in the past, but instead of the clear ones, these are colorful. So they have like blue and purple, and the way we oriented the skateboard cross sections, there's like lots of color in every one. So these are coming out super, super sick. Here's a finished pair. You can see what they'll look like. This is without it being tied up, but they're super cool. Lots of color in there. They look like little galaxies when you look at them. So Dustin's over here working hard on those. We have a limited set of those coming out on our next drop. And then Leo is working really hard. He and I have been working on these things they're gonna be little micro catch-alls, little ring catches. So like little bowls like this, where you can like drop a ring in or your change or whatever, little like cool trinkets, buttons, if you will. But we have a whole bunch of these coming out in various sizes, from the micro catch-alls to the super minis to the regular minis, all sorts of sizes, but those will come out on the next drop along with these colored chopsticks and a few other items. So that's what's going on in the shop today. A big focus for me is getting these Marucci stocks up to par, and then making progress on these table legs, and then we'll see where time leads us and what else we can accomplish. Okay, so so we're using Total Boat thickset Fathom here. So this is their specially formulated epoxy for deep pours and for casting. Really the only thing when you're talking about epoxy products, the only difference in an epoxy meant for a deep pour or a casting versus like a tabletop epoxy is the cure time. And you'll notice whenever you're fooling with it that the epoxy made for casting or deep pours has a much higher viscosity. It's much more liquid, whereas the tabletop epoxy is a lot more like a syrup consistency. It's much slower in the viscosity rating. And because of this, so this has a very slow cure time and a higher viscosity. So when it cures slowly over the course of the 72-hour cure period, and it's really viscous, it allows for all the bubbles, it allows the time for all of the epoxy to seep in the wood and all the bubbles to escape. And then because it's very liquid and very viscous, it allows those bubbles to go to the top. And that's why you don't have bubbles. But the bubbles still happen in the process. It's just this has a slow enough cure time that it allows them to release. And that's really the biggest difference in epoxy for deep pours and epoxy for tabletop. Total Boat's thickset Fathom is a wonderful product for anybody looking to do anything over an 1/8 inch pour or casting. Okay, so we're using their granulated buckets, which I love, makes the measuring process really easy. And we're gonna have to add some more over there. This is a 2-part mixture. Part A, you have 2 parts to part B. So on their cylinder, you can see here, if it's a 2-to-1 ratio, you come up to the 4, and then you'd also come up to the 4. Or if you came up to the 2, you'd also come up to the 2. And this is how you measure your 2-to-1. It's really nice because with other people's products, they don't offer these buckets. You can get them from Home Depot, but they don't give you or Lowe's, but they don't give you these markings, and you'll end up having to use a scale to weigh it, which is what we used to do. But then Total Boat, we discovered, and yeah, much superior product to the competition. Okay, accept that. So we're gonna do 1 deep clear pour, and then we're gonna do 1 thin clear pour, and then 2 deep blue pours. So I'm trying to get crafty and smart with this, and basically I'm hoping that I don't need this whole bucket for the 2 clear pours, and that the excess can be used in the blue pour. I suspect I'm gonna need more than this though. We have a lot of pouring to do. All right, so you just want to mix until you have no more white streaks. So when you first start out the mixture, when you start mixing it, it's very cloudy, and then you get these little streaks. And after 2 or 3 minutes of mixing, you can use a mixer and a drill if you want, but I just prefer this way, more controlled. You'll look in there and you'll see bubbles, but you won't see any streaks, and that means that both parts of the mixture have been evenly mixed. Okay, so this one's ready to pour. So let's go do that. All right, so we're about to take this crystal clear Total Boat thickset Fathom epoxy, and we're gonna pour it over this stock right here, okay? And that's gonna fill the gaps that we failed on gluing together. It's gonna fill this and it'll make for a perfectly square stock for Marucci. And then we're gonna do a thin pour on this piece right here, okay? And that's gonna close up all the pores of the exposed broken skateboards and all the pores on the top. So that whenever we do the deep pour, we won't have any bubbles. And then we're gonna mix more epoxy if we need, and we're gonna add a blue pigment from Black Diamond Pigments and do deep pours on both of these that will be turned into table legs for some custom coffee tables that I'm working on. So let's get to it. I've totally taken a gallon like this before and dropped it all over the place. I've done it and it sucks. Hopefully we don't do that right now. Leo sounds like he's trying to break into a bank vault. I don't know what he's doing. Just hear the sounds. This is a thin coat, and that's all we're trying to do is fill up all the pores in this wood so that whenever we do the deep pour, there's no bubbles. So that's all this pour is to serve as. Just want to do a thin coat. All of this stuff. Whenever I'm pouring epoxy and talking, I really feel like Bob Ross. All right, so what I'm working on here is a set of custom floating shelves for Magnolia Skate Park in downtown Lafayette, Louisiana. So these are gonna be really cool. Right now I'm just making the guts of them. But once I have this done, we're gonna take skateboards and we're gonna put it around the entire outer edge of the shelves. So you'll see like skateboards, a ton of different colors going around the whole thing. And the tops and bottoms are gonna be jet black. And then we're gonna put the Magnolia logo laser engraved on the top, just real subtly in all black. Just like Udi likes, just all black. But yeah, it's pretty cool. We've been working on them for a while. They've kind of been on the back burner. Sorry, Udi. We've been focused on other projects or other clients, but he knows, and we love him, so we're making time for him. All right, so I'm about to route out the back of these shelves so that the brackets can sit flush in them. So I'm gonna use this template to route out the backside. And then I'm gonna come back in with a giant boring bit and drill super deep holes so these things can just flush up in there. It's gonna be kind of cool. I mean, I think it's cool. Hey guys, this is Daniel Baruch with Baruch Works, and I just wanted to make this video to say thank you guys. We just hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. This is a really cool goal of mine that I'm excited to achieve, and I wanted to share something with you guys. So I'm in my backyard right now, and I have this vision. I've had this vision for a long time of taking the 100K plaque that YouTube sends you and hanging it on my new shop wall. And we just did some pre-work, but we're actually in the process. The slab should be going in this week for our new shop, and it's gonna go right here. It's gonna be my dream wood shop. So yeah, thank you guys. I wouldn't be here without a lot of people's help and support. And if any of you guys have subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you. We make a little bit of money off of that. We're working to make more off of it, and it's a way that we can keep doing what we love to do. So thank all of you. Thank you so much. There's really exciting things coming from Baruch Works for 2024 and 2025. So you guys stay tuned. Thank you so much for 100K. We're stoked. Woo woo! We're gonna be doing some giveaways soon, so y'all stay tuned.